Welcome to Deakin Stadium and welcome to a new season of NPL football. It's live here on Bar TV Sports. It's Capital Football Round 1, Canberra FC versus Canberra Olympic, the grand final rematch, red versus blue once more. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me, as usual, Balcony United head coach Steve Forshaw. Steve, cracking start to the season. Beautiful evening at Deakin Stadium. We can't wait for this to start.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Pre-season seems to have been an interminable amount of time, and now we look forward to what promises to be one of the better matches up this weekend, and certainly two teams that traditionally have been fierce foes. We saw it in last year's grand final. We'll see it again through this season. These are two teams that have great expectations and expect to win things, and it starts again tonight. Really looking forward to it.
There were no strangers to each other, playing each other 5 times last season, and those in the know would suggest that perhaps it's going to be a similar case this year, although there's plenty of football teams around Canberra that will have something to say about that, yours included.
Well, everybody starts at the same place, and the competition will sort itself out over time, and we saw last year that it went right down to the wire for the top 4. And I don't think it'll change much this year. I'm looking forward to a very, very competitive season. I think most clubs will feel that they've strengthened and are better than last year and have improved from last year, including the two that we'll see tonight. And there have been quite a few changes, and some players tonight will be playing against their former club. But that just adds to the intrigue, doesn't it? Which
we'll talk about in just a little. It's ironic that you should say everyone starts from the same place, because just a couple of hours ago we understand that Gungahlin United won't start from the same place as everybody else. Docked 6 points for not meeting financial payments back to Capital Football, already there behind the 8 ball. Not the ideal start to the season for Marcel Munoz and his troops, and not getting into any of the politics as to the high whys and wherefores of it all, but they've got the quality to bounce back from that.
Look, 6 points is an impasse that's difficult to overcome in a very short season, but they've certainly got the depth of quality that they might be able to bounce back from it, and certainly given the situation they find themselves in, I don't think the players will actually throw the towel in, so it'll be all hands to the pump, and they'll be trying to make up that 6-point deficit as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm sure they will give that a go. They don't start till next week anyway, so they won't have a chance to do so. The other fixtures this weekend: tomorrow at the Solomad Stadium in Griffith, Riverina Rhinos against Monaro Panthers, while Woden Western play Balcony United at Melrose at the unusual kick-off time on a Saturday of 7:30pm. And on Sunday afternoon down at Nijong Oval, it's Tigers FC versus Tuggeranong United. So everybody keen to get going. We're going to have a minute silence before kick-off today to honour Steve Modric, committee member of Canberra FC, and club member and supporter Branko Plijan, who incidentally laid the first brick at the original Deakin Social Club when it was built back in the day. Both of those committee player members and supporters of this great club here passed away during the week, so we will honour them with a minute's silence before kick-off. That's when the teams line up. I'll reiterate that closer to the time. Plenty of fans turning out here, reasonable turnout on this near side as well, where the most vocal fans are as well. We will run through the two teams when they come out. Suffice to say though that, as you mentioned, Steve, plenty of intrigue and changes. One of the most notable perhaps in the week, Rory Larkin coming into Canberra Olympic. Angelo Constantino ruled out for the season with that ruptured Achilles. Rory Larkin coming in as a goalkeeper, wasn't registered with a club this season, but he's got plenty of Premier League experience behind him.
He's actually, his reputation around Canberra is that he's a very, very good goalkeeper. Safe pair of hands in the sticks, good distribution, good organiser. So I think, although Olympic will miss their stalwart keeper in Angelo, they've got a ready-made replacement in Larkin.
Both these sides have got underway in terms of action throughout the Capital Football pre-season, and they had a semi-competitive game here last week for Canberra FC. There was a trophy on the line. It was the Charity Shield, and they got up over Gungahlin United 2-1. Daniel Barach with his first goal in red, and a Bud Abbas own goal. What did we learn from that, from your point of view, about Canberra FC in particular?
Well, I think we've probably learned that they're still on track for success this season. They continued in the vein of form that they finished with last year. So they've started with a win, they've started with a trophy. For both teams last week, it was evident that we were very much in the early part of the season, and there would be improvement all round. But I think the new players that have come in, the Cole Bataldos, etc., that have come into the FC, settled into the lineup quickly. I think they'll look to build on that. Young Nicky Jadrick had a great game in midfield before he was substituted, and they'll be looking to sort of cement that sort of form, and then having built the platform, move forward and be the competitive side that we know they are.
Canberra Olympic also had a 2-1 win. Theirs in a slightly more important match, the FFA Cup qualifying third-round tie against Queanbeyan City, where a penalty from Stephen Dominici and a free kick from Kofi Danning on his debut saw them through to the quarter-final stage. The scoreline probably doesn't reflect the performance. They had, I saw Frank Keisha talk to me in the week, said it's something like 23 corners he counted back and 18 shots on target during the game, and they probably could have won by a lot more. They had plenty of chances. In games like tonight, though, Steve, they'll need to be taking those opportunities.
I think so. I mean, I didn't see the game live, but I did watch it on replay through Bar TV, and they got the penalty, and that was close to half-time, and they didn't really look like scoring. For all the possession they had, for all the chances they created, their lack of a clinical finish was going to cost them dearly. The penalty changed all that, and then, of course, it was another set piece that put them up 2-0. But yeah, as you suggest, quite rightly, they will need to be far more clinical tonight if they expect to get something out of this game.
So we're about to honour the fallen members of the Canberra FC committee who passed away during the week. There'll be a moment's silence for Steve Modric, committee member, and Branko Prijan.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding to observe a minute's silence to honour 2 club members that have passed away in recent days. Firstly, we honour Mr. Stjepan Modric, who is a committee member and dedicated club man. He served the club in the role of committee member from the mid-90s and served for more than 10 years, including during the National Youth League era in which the club was so successful. Stjepan is represented here today by his son James and daughter-in-law Emma. We also honour Mr. Branko Prijan, who was a passionate supporter and club man in the 70s and 80s. Branko also laid the first brick across the road at the Croatia Deacon Social Club when it was built. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
An impeccably observed minute silence, as you would expect, Steve. 2 clubs with a great history and tradition of battling on the field, but great respect off it for both of them.
Absolutely. RIP to both gentlemen, and thoughts and prayers to the family and friends.
Moving on to the football today, let's have a quick look at the team, starting with Canberra FC. They make one change from the team that won the Charity Shield. Matt Gadabesha comes in for Jordan Lamb, which means Jordan Thurtell starts in goal. A nominal back four of Aidan Brunskill, Daniel Subasic, Matt Gadabesha and Matt Waters. Midfield, Daniel Cobertaldo, Ryan Keir, Nicky Yardrich and Jason Ugrinich. 2 up front, Daniel Barrett and Lucas Maragis, although that may be 3, depending on how they line up.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to play 4-4-2. That's certainly the way they formed up last weekend against Gungahlin, and having seen them get the victory there, I don't think they'll change too much. They may be tactically flexible enough to actually change it during the game, but I think they'll start 4-4-2.
Canberra Olympic have made 2 changes from the side that beat Queanbeyan City in the FFA Cup. Rory Larkin comes in goal for James Christis, while Nathan Medjic drops into midfield for Zidane Mutlu. That means that Larkin is in goal. The back four is the same as won the cup tie. Tim Bobolas, Nick Bobolas, Lasse Ulrich, the Dane, and Michael Reeve. A holding midfield 2 of Andrei Janchevsky and Medjic. In front of them, an attacking foursome, 3 across the middle. Kofi Danning, Nick Popovic and Jay Kelly, with Stephen Dominici up top, but we expect that to be very fluid as well.
I should imagine so, because I think Popovic, Dominici and Danning will be looking to get as far forward as they can and try and get behind the FC back four. So you can expect a lot of movement, a lot of intricate passing, a lot of combinations to actually bring effect to that.
Difference in the benches is quite stark in terms of age and experience. Canberra FC, Ian Graham, Ivan Pavlak, Marko Verdikic, Jordan Lamb and Sam Brown. The opposite bench, Adam Forner, Zidane Mutlu, Sean Payman, Amir Adam and James Christis. So you'd say that on balance, FC have the stronger bench, but we'll wait and see. Your match officials, Nathan Shakespeare in the middle, Alex McConaughey on this near side, celebrating his 150th Premier League match, although we did have a chat with him about this beforehand. One of them was as an additional assistant referee, so I'm not sure that counts, Steve, but we'll give him the benefit. 150 Premier League games, absolutely incredible. Adam Powers on the far side.
Congratulations to Alex, but I'm only giving him 149 plus.
He can have 150 next week when he does it. Either way, it's pretty good. Better than his performance out in Canberra, the singled out competition in which he was eliminated at the first round stage. No love for him there. Hopefully there's a bit more for him tonight. Someone who is still in that, though, apparently is Liam Highmore, the Tuggeranong United central defender. He's got through, so obviously he's got more fans out there than poor old Alex.
This is probably the vagaries of being a referee.
On to the more important stuff. The Blues of Canberra FC, Canberra Olympic in their brand new kits. Canberra FC in a new red kit as well. Early touch for Waters. Bit of space in the middle of the park for Cole Bataldo playing against his former club. Gets it back from Yardrich, and an early chance for Brunskill to get something going for those in red. Tries to find Yardrich, but he's overhit that. Plenty of subplots today, of course. You've got Daniel Cole Bataldo playing against his former club in Canberra Olympic. Babach and Ugrinich have both played across there as well. And you've got Kofi Danning, of course, playing in blue instead of red today.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes both ways, and interesting to see how that pans out. Two good football sides, though. Excuse me.
We'll see how it goes. First touch for Nick Bobolis. Sweeping ball forward from Magic, looking for the run.
Not a bad idea. They had him stretched. The out ball to Reeves is something FC will have to look out for.
Saw some different kind of matches here last year, didn't we? In the FFA Cup quarter-finals, a couple of goals from Thomas James late on that split the teams, with FC winning 2-0. They came back here for the round 10 match win. A single goal from Michael John, now at Gungahlin United, saw Olympic home 1-0. Back here for the qualification final, in which we saw probably Canberra Olympic's most complete performance of the season. They absolutely walloped Canberra FC far more than the 5-3 scoreline suggests. And then, of course, the grand final, where a couple of goals from Thomas James, who we mentioned last week, is banging them in at Wollongong Wolves, saw them home after Nathan Medjic had given Olympic the lead. So there was plenty between the two sides last year, and we're expecting more of the same.
Yes, we are. And I think, the goals that Thomas James provided have got to be made up by the players that they brought in, the Baraches, the Ugrinich, Cole Bataldo can weigh in with a few, Lucas Moragas. They've got to find those 22, 23 goals that Thomas James provided last year. I think they're capable of doing it, and certainly we saw in the first 20, 25 minutes last week against Gungahlin, their attacking threat was very, very potent.
Well, James scored 4 of the 9 goals that FC bagged against Olympic last year. 4 of the most important, you'd suggest?
I think he's got 7 already this year with Wollongong Wolves, 6 or 7.
Absolutely flying.
Yeah.
Godabesha goes square to Subasic. Tried for him to bring it forward. A little dinked ball over the top, looking for the run ahead of him of Lucas Moragas. Impressed us last week in the Charity Shield with his work rate and enthusiasm. And
there's no doubt he'll give you a lot of energy. He's only a young boy, of course, so his experience is lacking, but he's somebody that I think Belconnen last year, Tuggeranong before that, Canberra United before that, and now FC. I think once he realises his potential, can go a long, long way in the game. We
talked about Canberra Olympic missing chances, but FC missed a couple of more than presentable ones early on against Gungahlin last week.
Yeah, and I think you can probably put that down to early season jitters.
It's crossfield ball, should be picked up from Ugrinich. Skips away off the turf though. Quite liking this new all blue with the white shorts from Olympic. A long throw down the line, chance for Kelly to stretch his legs. Popovic is in there, clash with Godabesha, and the referee has given a corner. Has he changed his mind? He has.
Yeah. No, definitely looked a goal kick, but that's a clash that'll have some import for the rest of the game. Popovic, Gerbisher, because Popovic very skillful, very direct, and Gerbisher a very experienced defender.
Brunskill. Subasic. So the ball over the top. Something to keep an eye out on today, of course, is the new rule of the temporary dismissal. 10 minutes in the bin for dissent to the referees. Coming into Capital Football NPL this year, was trialled in the Capital League last year to relative success, so we may see that coming into effect later on. We hope not.
Well, I hope not. I'd rather just see the 11v11 for the full 90 minutes plus.
Let's hope that's the case. Larkin in the goals. Popovic deep as he was against Queanbeyan. Looking to pick things up. It's a decent clearance from the keeper, but it bounces off the turf. Friday night football under the lights on Bar TV Sports.
Yeah, Popovic seems to have a sort of roaming commission tonight. He looks like he can go just where he wants and where he can affect the game the most. So we've seen him dropping into his own penalty area and then making runs forward as well.
We saw a fair bit of it against Queanbeyan on the weekend, Steve. While you were playing, he dropped deep to play that quarterback role, if you like, and got the ball off the back for a lot to try and affect stuff going forward.
Just wondering whether that's Frank Keisha's way of compensating for the loss of Colbertalda, trying to get a ball player in the game as early as possible and deep on the pitch.
Here is Popovic in the more advanced role. Looks for Kelly outside him, but the flag goes up against Jay Kelly.
Encouraging, though. Encouraging start from Olympic. They haven't sort of taken a backward step. Not that there's been a lot of goal-mouth action, but Olympic have just looked a little dangerous down their right-hand side.
Very early days, of course. Canberra FC back up on Wednesday in the FFA Cup here at Deakin Stadium against Brindabella Blues. We'll be at Melrose, Steve, for what we think could be a cracking cup tie between Woden Western of the Premier League NPL 1 and White Eagles of NPL 2.
Yeah, looking forward to that, Russ. Yep, cup competition really does fire the imagination.
Here's Gerbischer, the one change in the starting 11 this week. Colbertalda can't pick it up, but Keir will. He's playing a bit further forwards than he did in the Charity Shield. Sibicic, good ball that is, but Brunskill perhaps not as sprightly as he used to be.
No, not a bad idea though. Once again, it's the out ball is through the fullback, but Ryan Keir played as a central defender when we saw him last week. But if you're playing him in midfield, you'd get a superb passing game, as I alluded to last week. He's a very, very good distributor of the ball. Perhaps not the most mobile player in the world, but a very, 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 very good on the ball.
Oh, here's a chance for Canberra Olympic to try and push the ball forward and get an attack going. Michael Reeve with the throw. Danning. Said in an interview this week, Kofi Danning, that he is a Canberra FC boy through and through, and it was a difficult decision for him to make the move to Canberra Olympic, but a challenge that he's relishing. Certainly stood up to it on the weekend, got them through with the winning goal in effect against Queanbeyan City.
Yeah, decent free kick, wasn't it? Took it well, finished it well.
Expecting him to weigh in with a fair few goals this season.
He's not the most natural of finishers, Kofi, but his work rate and the way he leads the line is first class, and he was one of FC's first choice 11 last year. He did really well for them, and if you can do the same for Olympic this year, they'll be happy.
Janczewski finds Tim Bobolis, crossing opportunity, decent 1-2, and Matty Gerbischer stuck a boot out and is happy to concede the corner. A little chat between him and Jordan Thurtell.
But again, down the right hand side, just getting Bobolis forward and not a bad ball in.
Looks like Matty Waters is going to be in for a tricky evening on this flank. Kofi Danning with a set piece. Plenty of blue shirts in and around the penalty box, as you'd expect for the first corner of the match. Flatter delivery, decent one too. Nick Bobolis almost got on the end of it. Dominici picks it up. The ball into the air. There is Nick Bobolis. Ball stays alive from Popovic. Chance for Tim Bobolis. Pulls it across goal. But the flag is up. Is it? No. It's a goal, I think, for Canberra Olympic out of nothing.
No,
it must be a free kick.
Yeah.
Didn't see the flag. Thought the celebrations were a little muted, weren't they?
Well, there was none at all.
Lasse Ulrich put it in. I didn't see a flag go up, though, unless it went up and came down very quickly on this near side.
Unless it was given, the referee blew his whistle, I don't know. But
well, I thought when Bobolis headed it back in, Popovic looked yards offside, didn't he? But
he did.
Didn't see a flag, so...
No. But if it wasn't a goal, that is the most
Casual finish.
low-key sort of celebration I've seen for a long, long time. Not to be, obviously. But once again...
Just stroked it home, didn't he?
Yeah. Once again, good signs for Olympic.
We took a glance to the right and there was no flag up, so I can only assume the whistle went and the flag wasn't given. Maybe it was a free kick or something. Can't hear it from up here. Anyway, still 0-0. I think it's a good way to fool the opposition, though, isn't it?
Well,
Barrach battling away, and that's punted up the park by Ulrich. Tim Bobolas. Gerbish is there, and a chance for FC to break down this left flank. An opportunity for Mirages to get round the back. Good ball in too. There's a header and a decent save. Yardridge came in, and Larkin plunging to his left pushes it round the post.
it was just one of those that was just creeping in, wasn't it? Miragas does really well against Bobolas. Outruns him and gets in a deflected cross at best, but a ball into a good area, and Nicky Jadridge breaking from midfield gets on the end of it. Larkin pulls off a decent save.
Yeah, the late run from Yardridge got him in there. Chance for FC from their first corner of the evening. Swung towards the far post. Might come for Subasic.
I was just about to say before that last attack that, you know, in the first 10 minutes we haven't seen much of Barrach or Miragas, and suddenly they burst into life and we get the best chance of the game perhaps so far.
It's a new partnership between the two, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a chance for them to work each other out. Canberra FC, 23 league titles. It's a phenomenal effort. 16 grand final wins.
That's nearly as many as Alex's games.
Here's Dominici in behind momentarily. Waters is back. Ugrinic. Jancheski with a challenge. Gets it back again, the midfielder. Good switch of play. Reeve. Danning. Won't be shy to have a run when he's in possession. Magic.
It's ambitious.
Got it in his armoury.
He has, but that's too straight. Popovic, you're not going to get to catch hold of them. Might be patient. You'll find the pass that penetrates if you're just a little bit more patient.
Early days, of course, here live on Bar TV Sports. 12 minutes gone, no goals in the first match of the NPL season. Plenty more football, of course, to come live on Bar TV Sports. We mentioned all games streamed this year. Riverina v Monero, Warren Western v Belconnen tomorrow, Tigers versus Tuggeranong on Sunday. A smorgasbord of football. Here's Barrach looking to twist and turn. If you like watching the Women's Premier League, we'll be here for round 2 on Sunday. We're live from O'Connor, Canberra Olympic versus Canberra United Academy. You can join myself and Matt Moore in commentary for that one.
Similar sort of facility as well to play it.
At O'Connor. Canberra Olympics home grounds. Here's Yardridge looking to dance through. Colbertaldo, hefty touch on him though, and he's lucky that Subasic was there. Here he is again, Colbertaldo, but he's robbed of possession. Popovic. Not been the best of starts for Danny Colbertaldo against his former team. Here's Danning.
He'd be looking to do well as well, I would have thought.
Barrach is in there to clear. It's often the case that players often score against their former team for whatever reason or other, isn't it? It's one of football's quirks.
And we know that Colbertaldo's got it in his locker to actually stick one in the top corner from distance. It's one of his specialities.
He does save them for the big occasions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Danning looking to slide Jay Kelly in behind the back, but the flag does go up this time. But we can play on. Waters. Looks for Mirages. Beaten in the air by Bobolas. Here's Colbertaldo.
Actually thought it came off Colbertaldo last, but the referee's given it as an FC throw.
Ugrinic. Bit short that, and challenge between Colbertaldo and Janchevsky is won by the midfielder from FC. Or heavy touch from Thurtell.
Gets away with that.
Just gave Dominici a sniff for a moment,
He
didn't
did. And he is somebody that reads the game very well, Stephen Dominici. He's looking for little mistakes like that to capitalise.
Kier. Brunskill. Subasic again. Nice touch from Kier. Miragis, chance for him to slide the ball through. Real opportunity here for Balac in behind. Daniel Balac goes down, and the referee says corner. Big call early on from Nathan Shakespeare, and the FC players are adamant it was a penalty. The keeper must have got a touch because he's given the corner, but we haven't got the benefit of the replay here. But dear oh dear, that was close.
I mean, from here it looks penalty, but we're a long way away, and without the benefit of a replay, we'll give the referee the benefit of the doubt. But if the goalkeeper's got a touch and he was the last touch, how's the ball ended up if we weren't going for a corner?
Good question. Swung over towards the far post. Subasic with a header, but over the crossbar. The first talking point of the Premier League season, and it's fair to say that Canberra FC thought they should have had a spot kick. Yeah,
certainly there was contact, but whether it was contact incidental to playing the ball, we'll not know until we see a replay.
There must have been some contact from the goalkeeper, otherwise the corner wouldn't have been given, would it?
You wouldn't have thought so. But look, the referee's a lot closer than ours, and he was confident in his decision, so let's go with it.
Gave it nice and early. Ball forwards, Kelly lets it run. Bobolas gave him the call, but couldn't keep it in play. Again, we don't have a benefit of a replay, but if you've got my number and you want to text it, text me a shot of whether it's a penalty or not. We're happy to take your notes. Angelo Constantino, you're normally watching, or Mitch Stevens, or someone of that ilk. It's like our own VAR panel.
Actually, can I just take this
the whole of Canberra?
Danny Maker will be watching as well. And can I just give a quick hello to Lena, his wife, who had some minor surgery at the beginning of this week, and she's been in some discomfort. So wishing her a speedy recovery if you're watching, Lena.
Yeah, I hope she gets well soon.
Yeah.
Spot of Friday night football always makes everyone feel a little bit better. Here's Danning pouncing on that loose ball. He's got Popovic ahead of him, looks for Popovic, and that's going to roll through to Thurtell.
Just both teams a little guilty of over hitting the pass, the lack of accuracy in the passes.
Canberra FC will have the free kick. Keir will go quickly. Ugrinich. Chance for him to maybe get this into the penalty area. Cuts back and still has possession. Still going here, Ugrinich. Goes down on the edge of the box. Janchevsky won the ball. In fact, Bobolas rather won the ball, and Janchevsky brings it away.
And offside again.
Good challenge that needed to be.
Yeah, it was. Timed it well, just on the edge of the box there. Jason Ugrinich probably had the option to release, but his dancing feet almost got him into a really good shooting position.
Yeah, cut back into that right foot. Probably didn't expect him to do so, being more of a left-footed player.
Yeah. In his time with Bill Connon, he tended to play more on the right-hand side so he could cut onto his left. So we might see him floating around in those sort of positions.
Well, it's not as if Luka is short of options on the left-hand side.
No, he's got a lot of left-footers.
Subasic. Bit wayward. Janchevsky's there, goes early for Kelly, and Gurbic has made a bit of a mess of that, but recovered in his own indomitable way.
Yeah.
Is Yardrich. Tried that ball over the top. It worked in the charity shield for Balac when he got away to score the opening goal of the match.
And Olympic are defending quite high, so it's probably a ball that has some reward attached to it, but the weight of the pass has got to be spot on.
Keir. Ugrinich opens the body up, and a chance to advance once more. Decent ball in towards young Miragis, but eased off and the flag was up anyway. And Steve, not many goal scoring chances in the opening 10 or so minutes, but it's got a really good feel to it. It feels open. It feels like there's going to be opportunities.
I mean, there was some suggestion that Olympic might just sit back and try and catch FC on the counter, but both teams have actually showed enough attacking intent that the game it's been quite an attractive proposition right from the word go.
Bit of noise coming from the FC fans to our left. Ulrich looks for the ball over the top.
Yeah.
Danish centre-back had a spell in the US apparently, and his family and friends tune in from Denmark to watch him play. So if you're watching in Denmark, watching Lasse Ulrich play, enjoy the match.
G'day from Canberra.
Here he is in action, looking to shield this one out of play, and does well.
Yeah. Just once or twice too many know that both sides have been guilty of just playing that pass too straight and making it far too difficult to catch up with. So a little bit more patient, get it into feet and see if they can work some combinations that might be better served.
Rory Larkins made the only save of the first half so far from a Yardrich header. And Ulrich, of course, had the ball in the net, but offside, foul, obviously, or offside against Popovic. Meant it didn't count. Other than that, it's been pretty much a midfield battle. Here is Janchevsky. Bobolus. Looks for Kelly. Got good pace, we know that. Would have been disappointed not to get on the score sheet on the weekend. Had a couple of more than presentable chances. Especially one right before half-time, just after Domenici's penalty, when he lifted it over the bar after being put through one-on-one. I'm sure he'll be looking to make up for that tonight. Here's Megic, good challenge that from Keir.
Yeah, Megic playing in that unfamiliar midfield role with Reeves in Megic's normal left-back spot. But of the two teams, I think Olympic have probably settled the better. They're, they've been guilty of turning over possession themselves, but not as much as FC.
Who turned it over just there. Here's Popovic. Danning making the run outside. Kofi Danning. Chance to swing this into the area. Kelly's coming in on the far post. Might fall for Domenici. Took up a good position there. The forwards. Plenty back in red though. Domenici plays a little 1-2 and tries to get the shot away. It might come for Kelly. Opportunity here and cleared off the line from Matty Gerbischer off his rather scuffed shot from Kelly, but got it past the keeper.
Yeah. Domenici did really well cutting inside onto his left foot, and his scuff shot actually falls to Kelly, who doesn't make good contact with it. But another good opening for Olympic on the turnover again.
A couple of scuff shots, wasn't there? Domenici's initial one and then that one. It's the blue shirts coming forward once more.
Again, FC not able to maintain possession.
Ulrich spreads it wide to Reeve. Danning. Well, Magic let that run, but neither Ulrich nor Bobolus were expecting it. Here is Ulrich. Magic. Likes to get his foot on the ball. Ulrich. Patient build-up from Olympic.
Yeah.
As we'd expect.
FC quite content to just sit off, let them play in front of them.
Tim Bobolus. Magic again, bit of a press now.
Yeah.
From Miragis, and Barach makes sure that Nick Bobolus sends it forward, and in the end that's a win for Canberra FC, because that's a fairly aimless ball from Nick Bobolus.
Yeah. Just waiting for that cue, weren't they? Just waiting for that negative pass once they were set to again push on, and it worked a treat for them. Good
patience from FC not to force it. Got it back. Now can they keep it for more than a couple of passes? Gerbischer, no they can't. He's not started as sharply as he has, we know, Matt Gerbischer. He didn't play last week. No, maybe he's a little bit rusty.
Well, apparently he has missed a fair bit of training, and that's why he wasn't in the starting 11 last week. So it's going to take him a little while to find his feet, but we know what quality he's got.
Definite threat off of the set pieces as well at the other end. His number one job, though, is to keep Olympic out, and he's doing that at the moment. Certainly did it a couple of seconds ago when he cleared off the line from Jay Kelly.
Well, they get a chance again. I mean, they've been quite direct out of the keeper, out of the box. But they're going to try and play out a little bit. And this is when they have done this, they have turned it over in bad areas.
Both sides have relatively testing fixtures next week as well. Round 2, Canberra FC heads to Tuggeranong to play Tuggeranong United, whereas Canberra Olympic have a home match against Gungahlin United. So tough fixtures for both of them. Mind you, I don't think there is any really easy fixtures in this league at the moment. Here's Keir. Chance for Yardrich on the turn, perhaps, to lift one into the box. Barach arriving. Larkins there, and that's got to be a free kick, and it is. But Steve, I was saying there's plenty of testing fixtures in this competition. Monaro Panthers, who finished last year, showed on the weekend, as we get a bit of treatment in the middle of the park here, that there'll be no pushovers either. The 1-0 defeat to Tigers FC that you were with me commentating on, and both those sides look decent, difficult to beat, and we're expecting everybody in this division to be hard to beat this year.
Well, we saw it last year. I mean, we've mentioned it in previous commentary with, Monero, although they finished bottom, were competitive in a lot of matches. They've improved markedly this season and recruited extremely well, extensively. So you can imagine that they're going to be very, very difficult to beat. But the competition's very even. There's no sort of pushovers in this. There's no gifts. Gungahlin now have the extra incentive to do really well to try and make up that 6 points, because they could, quite easily be 9 points off the top of the table after the first round. And
the added problems, of course, that if you're bottom this year, you're down.
Yeah.
Relegation to MPL 2. No promotion this year, but relegation is in place.
Yeah, that'll make it interesting as we go forward.
Bit of pressure on those teams that'll be near the foot of the table. That's something on every game.
Yeah, there's no half-time knock-off, is there now?
Keir can't afford to lose too many or you're in problems. Bobolus looks to bring this away. Both sides relatively rusty, as you can see.
Both teams will improve in playing when they're under pressure. This was letting them down. As soon as there's a bit of a pressure on the moment, we'd see both teams turn it over, and that's something that'll improve as the season goes on.
Mirages, willing chaser, but the body strength of Nick Bobolus just eases him off the ball.
Yeah, good defending.
It's only going to be one winner in a 50-50 shoulder charge there. Good pace from big Nick Bobolus as well to keep up with the youngster.
Yeah, Lucas didn't take any ground off him, did he?
You're watching round 1 of the MPL live on Bar TV Sports in Canberra. No goals, Canberra FC, Canberra Olympic. Rematch of last year's grand final. Canberra FC won the lot last year, did the treble, and they started this season with the Charity Shield, the one trophy they weren't involved in last year. So on a bit of a shove here from Keir. Bit of handbags. Tim Bobolus not giving the ball back, and first real flashpoint and a chance for Nathan Shakespeare to lay down the law.
No temporary. Well, you can't. It's not dissent, is it?
Not for a shove, no. Depends how they chat about it right now.
Yeah. But on a tactical point of view, I just think FC might just be missing a trick by not playing Jason Ugrinnick a little further forward. He's having to do a lot of work defensively, getting back deep into his own half. And he's most effective when he's wide in an attacking sense. And, he's working his socks off. He's doing really well. But can they get a little bit more out of him? I think they can.
In that incident there, is Ryan Keir lucky to escape a yellow card for raising their hands? I mean, it was all handbags.
It wasn't much in it, but I think everybody would have been disappointed if he brought his yellow cards out for that, but you ask the referee to make a decision. You've got to take the consequences.
You don't mind a bit of a flashpoint, though? We're halfway through the half. There's not a lot been happening in terms of a game at the moment. Colbertalo looking to change that with the ball into the penalty. A good one too. Real opportunity on the turn from Barach, but didn't get enough on it to test Rory Larkin, who gets us back and away with a huge throw, and that's into the car park. That's probably hit my car from Aidan Brunskill. Parked just behind the stand there.
I hope it hasn't damaged the ball.
See if my car's still in one piece after this. But that was a chance for Barach.
It was a chance for Barach, and I think, here we go.
Well, turnover ball. Popovic runs into trouble though, and Colbertaldo clears up. Nice little turn to get away from Janchevsky, who brings him down.
But going back to the chance at the other end, it was really poor defending from an Olympic point of view, and a not so clever finish from Barach. Once it got to him, he probably should have done better. He had his time over. I think he'd be looking to score.
He didn't get anything on it, did he? Or if he did, it was slightly off his shin. No pace on it at all.
No.
Any sort of touch from there is giving Larkin problems.
If he makes reasonable contact, that's right.
Here he is a bit further back, trying to squeeze the ball through. Danning's going to bring it away there for Olympic. Colbertaldo is his shadow on that occasion and wins the ball back. Coming more into the game now, Daniel Colbertaldo. Ugrinnic. Kerbicious left it for Thurtell, who's had a shot, and the bounce here might be a problem here for Rory Larkin, and he's made a stunning save. Otherwise, Jordan Thurtell was scoring one of the most bizarre goals I've ever seen. It looked like it was going to drop over the keeper's head, and fair play to Larkin, stunning stop in the end. His positioning was terrible originally, but what a save.
I mean, this has come from a Ugrinik back pass that left it a little bit short for Thurtell, and he's come out and cleared it and nearly on the score sheet. In the end, a fabulous save, but obviously Larkin not expecting that sort of delivery from Thurtell.
We'd be watching that back from forever and a day if that had dropped in. Anyway, the upshot is a corner, swung to the near post. There is Larkin again, flashing at it, got a fist on. And the ball forwards, caught a bit late, should be a free kick for Olympic.
That
but
is.
Incredible hits. Jordan Thurtell struck that. I mean, obviously he's not gone for goal there, but the bounce, you could see from a mile away, the bounce was going to beat Larkin.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it nearly beat him, but he's recovered quite well. But my goodness, it would have been an interesting way to go 1-0 down.
I don't know if he's pulled something here, the keeper. He's down on his haunches in the penalty area as play goes on up the other end, with Danning looking to pull it through to Janchevsky, who's onside. Andrei Janchevsky scores for Canberra Olympic. A simple ball through. The midfielder breaks the back four and finishes with aplomb. The Blues lead.
Great finish, great ball through. But Matty Gerbisher is still deep into the opposition half. I don't understand what's gone on there. Matty Gerbisher is having a word with the referee now, but he must have thought there was going to be some form of restart with the goalkeeper. And
I think he went to get his shin pad that had fallen out in the penalty area.
Right. Well, it's his own fault, I'm afraid.
Either way, Andrei Janchevsky's first goal for Canberra Olympic, and it was a great finish.
Classic finish. Tucked it away really well. Thurtell, no chance.
But inquest into the Canberra FC defence and a chat for Nathan Shakespeare, and the referee's done nothing wrong there. He wants to get on with the game. Rory Larkin's actually getting some treatment now, just out of your shot to your left, the goalkeeper who made the save early on. But we're still having a chat here with the referee.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him having a chat, but it can't go on forever. I'm not sure what Matty's complaint is. I mean, he dropped his shin guard. Let somebody else get it.
I believe it was a shin pad. It seemed to be that out of picture, and I think he's showing that now. I mean, put a bit of tape on it. It's come out of his sock. And anyway, Canberra Olympic have the first goal of the new season, and it's their new midfield signing, Andrei Janchevsky, who's got it. As I said, a great ball through, and when he got in, he was cool and calm, and he needed a finish, and he found one.
Yeah, he did. It's a lovely goal. And I don't think it's unreasonable that they're 1-0 in front. I mean, there hasn't been a lot in the game, but they have settled better than FC, and their football has been a little more composed.
Well, let's see what the champions are made of. Have they got a response to falling behind? Good tackle from Janchevsky. He'll be floating on cloud 9 at the moment. The direct replacement near enough for Cole Bataldo, who's made the move here to Deakin Stadium.
Yes. Looks like he gets forward a little more than Cole Bataldo did. He's not your traditional or regular deep-sitting midfielder, but they are playing with two holders, so that might just allow him that little bit of extra freedom.
Well, never short of talking points in Canberra, and the MPL is there, and we've had plenty already today. The 6-point deduction for Gungahlin, the keeper almost scoring with a phenomenal strike forward, and within seconds a goal at the other end when it seemed Matty Gerbisher was collecting his shin pad from a previous attack. It's just, there's always something happening.
I'm not sure that...
Here's Kelly. Sorry to cut you off a second there, Steve. As Dominici's on the advance forward. Kelly wants it back. Dominici takes a bit longer. Popovic almost slid it through. Waters was there. Popovic still going. Dominici. It's all a bit frantic on the edge of the Canberra FC penalty area, and Brunskill can calm things down.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that to me it doesn't seem like a controversial moment at all. Matt Gerbisher had plenty of opportunity to actually get back into position and chose not to. Unless he'd actually said something to the referee and the referee had said something back, I got no complaints with the way that's panned out.
Here goes Mirage just looking to chase after this, and Nick Bobolas has come across to deny him. Calmly done from Ulrich.
That's a great tackle from Nicky Bobolas.
Tim Bobolas. Popovic was shoving the back from Gerbisher. He's got his back up at the moment, Matty Gerbisher.
He could be the first candidate for a temporary dismissal if he doesn't behave himself.
Odds on that would have been pretty slim before kickoff, you'd imagine.
I don't think you'd have been getting a lot of money for your $10 bet.
Good solid central defender Matty Gerbisher, and likes to chat. one of the best defenders to come out of Canberra in many years.
Oh, he's a good footballer. Really good footballer.
And that one's right into the breadbasket of Lucas Mirages. He wore that from Magic.
Lucky he's only 16.
He's got up and ran it off. So Canberra FC have stuff to do. It's 11 minutes or so to half time, and they need to find a way back into this. Thurtell lamps it forward, chases on for Matty Waters, but stumbles at an inopportune moment. That helps Tim Bobolis, who just eases him out of play. Played more of the man than the ball there, did Timmy Bobolis, but old school defending.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing in that.
There's something in that though.
Yeah.
Nick Bobolis.
Yeah.
Rugby tackles Lucas Mirages. A free kick in a dangerous position for Canberra FC. Jason Ugrinich goes to fetch it. Matty Gerbish is jogging forward as well.
Well, I wouldn't call it a jog, but
it was initially. It turned into a stroll when he got there. I think he almost thought about having to go with a free kick, and Ugrinich has said, well, I'll swing this one in for you, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, this has probably got to go far post, because you wouldn't expect a left foot strike from here, although Jason Ugrinich can pull one out of the bag.
Well, Ugrinich is over the ball. 3-man Canberra Olympic war. Greenwich chips it in, good ball towards the far post, coming in unmarked. Real opportunity for Daniel Subasic, and he sent it into the gardens of the houses behind the goal. Good opportunity for the defender.
Lovely ball in. Olympic caught napping and trying to play the offside trap, and it just didn't pay off at all. And Subasic, defender or no, should have done better with that.
Yeah, acknowledged it to Jason Ugrinich as he was walking back. The quality of the delivery and the late run got him in behind the Olympic back four, but the finish just wasn't there. Roy Larkin's struggling a bit here, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got his knee strapped up now. This is the last thing that Frank Keisha would need after losing Angelo Constantinou to a season-ending injury, and Mason Interlandi, one of his other goalkeepers, is injured as well.
I didn't think they had any others.
He's one of three they've got in. Mason Interlandi, I understand, has a shoulder injury of some description. And Roy Larkin's now got a patched up knee, and James Christis may need to warm up. Gerbish swings it to this near side.
I think I'll be avoiding going in goals for Olympic the way things are going.
It's a cursed position at the moment.
Yeah.
Jancheski, whose goal separates the two sides.
He's done really well, hasn't he?
Very impressive start. Kier didn't look where he was going with that, and only finds Dominici. Now Popovic. Kier and Colbertaldo try and slow it down. Dominici from Kelly, and Kier's back to rectify his mistake. Nicely done from Gerbesher. Yardrich.
Not been quite as influential as he was last week, young Nicky Jadrich, but I think if they can keep giving him the ball in good areas, he'll find something for them.
Brunskill finds Balach. Looking to take on Reeve. Back for Colbertaldo. Here's Yardrich on the edge of the box. Good tackle that again from Jancheski on that occasion, and a chance to break for Kelly. Dominici's gone forward to the right, left it's gone right. It was Medjic's the ball rather to Kelly. Switches the play to the far side. Popovic coming in, and a timely header.
Gerbisher.
He's in there again.
Yeah.
Matty Gerbisher. And a third time straight into Jancheski. Fired up, Matty Gerbisher.
Yeah, he's giving him the free kick. I mean, what's a complaint? I mean, settle down, Matt. You've got the ball. You've done well. Don't be silly and get yourself 10 minutes off the pitch when your team's 1-0 down and needs you.
Well, he's still angry at either the match officials or himself for his part in that goal. Jancheski plays it forward. They've turned it over again, Canberra, saying Luka Rishta must be pulling his hair out at the moment.
Not that he's got a lot to pull out, but that's right.
Disappointing with the way his midfield keep coughing up possession in costly areas. Here's Danning. Good ball in towards the far post. Kelly's arriving, and unmarked, had a real chance to make it two.
Should have done better again. Really good opportunity for Olympic. It's again in transition. They've caught FC out. Get a good ball into the far post, and unfortunately for Olympic, Kelly's header was a little weak.
Problems for Canberra FC of their own making. And Yardrich wins the throw. But with the pace of Popovic, Danning, Kelly and Dominici, you can't afford to turn over possession in those kind of areas, Steve.
No, and they really are getting numbers forward when they when they do get possession. Quite often you'll see 4-on-4 in the FC back third.
And the fulcrum of it all seems to be Janchevsky.
He's doing really well. But Magic's, the unsung hero. He's been breaking up a lot of play, and he's been doing the sort of role that a 6 is there to do. And Frank Keisha will be really delighted with the way those two have actually started the game.
Complementing each other very well in front of the back four to allow those ahead of them to do what they're doing.
But Ulrich looks very composed at the back as well. Bobolus has, made his tackles. Timmy
Dominici wins the ball and off he goes. Gerbish is in there with a sliding challenge. Still might fall for Dominici. Needed some help and he got it from Waters. Stretch from Tim Bobolus finds Kelly. Bobolus again. Colbertaldo's in there with a challenge to deny the fullback.
They've certainly got the tails up at the moment though, Olympic.
And they're still going here. And won a corner. Yeah. Quick throw off of Waters.
FC need to keep them at 2-0 at half time. It's a long way back and we've got at least 5-6 minutes to go.
Be a couple of minutes of stoppage time. Keeping an eye on Rory Larkin. And our pitcher just trying to walk off to our left here. That knee injury.
He's a long way out of his box. He hasn't learned his lesson from the third tail clearance yet.
Well, especially considering he's a bit lame on that leg. Wouldn't be fancying him to get back if he needed to get back quickly.
No.
As it is, the ball's at the other end at the moment, so it's not really an issue for him just yet. Danning with the corner.
This is interesting, though, that they've left 2 on 2 at the back.
And furthest forward is Colbertaldo. Swung in towards Magic, couldn't get anything on it. Dominici picks up the pieces. Good ball in. Bobolus unmarked this time, and the flag stayed down again. And yet another half chance for Canberra Olympic. The FC back four just not coping with these runners making late moves into the box.
No, and I think part of the problem is that Waters playing on the left-hand side of a back four is not in his normal position. Ugrinic playing on the left-hand side of a midfield four, not in his normal position, and they're just struggling to come to grips with those positional changes and the new roles that they've been asked to undertake.
There is Waters to Ugrinic. Fancy a pair of gold boots on there, Jason Ugrinic. You want to be a player wearing those, don't you? Sibicic looks to go long for Barac. Larkin looks to be running a lot freer, but then just pulled up and saw it out like a central defender.
Yeah, no need for him to come then. I mean, his defender was in control. The ball was always going to skip away, and it's just taking an unnecessary risk as far as I'm concerned, but got away with it.
Lasse Ulrich was there.
And now he can't take the goal kick.
Yeah, he's struggling big style here. It'll be interesting to see what happens at half-time. Frank Keisha will have to see if he can get some treatments from Mickey Day, the Belconnen United women's midfielder.
An all-round good sort.
She's your physio as well, isn't she?
Yeah. Very busy girl, no doubt about it.
We saw Jessie Rashard in the other box. There's the other physio for Canberra FC, another Belconnen United women's player.
And she does a little bit of work with Belconnen on Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Ugrinic looking to slide it through. Barac has stolen in here, but it's a good piece of defending.
It is.
From Ulrich.
It wasn't the ball that was intended, but it nearly paid off.
Took control of the situation, the centre-back, and got rid of it. Ball's under the stand, somewhere to our left. We'll come back eventually. Maddie Gerbischer with the throw. Good long one towards Barac, who was making the run in there. Kier, Maragis. Looks for Kier again, and they'll get a free kick. Little nibble from Tim Bobolus as the ball went past.
And, I mean, he hasn't touched anybody. I mean,
took a swing at the ball, didn't he, and didn't get anywhere near it. And Maragis pulled out of it. Anyway, the free kick's given, and similar position to the one where Subasic smashed it over the crossbar a couple of moments ago.
You would think that Olympic now will get big with big and track those runners.
Well, Subasic is unmarked again at the moment. He's coming from deep. Magic is watching him on this occasion.
Or are we going to have a shot? I think it's probably going to be the same sort of ball.
Ugrinic does send it into that area. Decent ball in. Real chance again, and another opportunity spurned by FC. And a clash in the middle. Kier's down there. And Larkin's down as well. I think it was Matty Gerbish who won the header. And Larkin, if he wasn't in trouble before, he is now.
Yeah. But That's twice from set pieces. Great balls in from Greenwich. He's put them into really, really good areas. And unfortunately for FC, they haven't been able to capitalise. Larkin looked tad slow off his line.
It's in that no man's land where it's really hard for a goalkeeper, isn't it? Whether you come and get it or whether you stay in any sort of touch, if you come and get it, it's probably ending up in the net.
Absolutely. And I think they've really got to sort out who's going with who when you track runners, because at the moment, the FC big men are getting in behind and should really be on level terms.
Well, they've spurned a couple of opportunities. We're into the final minute of the first half. Stoppage time, of course, to add on. There'll be a couple of minutes of that. Larkin thumps that forwards. Gerbisher wins the header. Tim Bobolas is there, though. Now Kelly. Little nutmeg to find Bobolas, and that's a good sliding challenge at the back from Subasic. He's probably had the most presentable chance for FC, I'd think, outside of Daniel Baric's swivel.
And the header then. And the header from the free kick.
When you saw Gerbisher coming in on that, you expected the net to bulge.
Was it Gerbisher or Keir?
I think Gerbisher got the touch, and Keir, he cleaned out Keir and the keeper at the same time. Maybe wrong. There's one of those two.
Certainly a presentable chance, and one or the other might have brought the FC team back on level terms.
Yardrich. Brunskill looks for Barac. Brunskill looking to prod that forward to Barac, and he goes down under the challenge. And as we enter stoppage time, there's going to be one final chance in this first half for those in red. Chance for them to swing the ball into the box and maybe hit those big men that you mentioned. Keir and Gerbisher comes forward. Subasic will be in there as well.
Well, if Greenwich can repeat his previous two set pieces, they're in with a real chance here.
Yeah, delivery's been fantastic. This one will swing away from goal as well and might tempt Rory Larkin in to come and get it. He doesn't mind coming for a punch, which you've seen a couple of times today.
Well, I mean, he'll take this with his left foot. It should come in towards him. And they're really deep. They're miles too deep, the Olympic team. They should be leaving Keir in there by himself.
Will this get the touch that it needs?
Just whip it in with pace and they're a chance here.
Greenwich over the set piece again. Good, decent one to the near post. That's a good header from Nick Popovic back there. Greenwich nicely turns Danning, and gets unfortunate that Reeve was there.
That was much better defending from the Olympic point of view.
So we come to the end of the first half, Steve. The only goal of the game so far, Andrei Janchevsky's finish. Probably fair on the balance at the moment in terms of decent chances created, but FC can count themselves, I guess. Unfortunately, they haven't equalised.
Look, they've had enough chances to actually be back in the game, but this game's got a long way to go. The second 45, we can look forward to some real pressure being applied by the home team.
They might put some now. Real opportunity. Out comes Larkin, and he's worn a challenge again. The flag is up, and Larkin is down once more.
Well, I think he copped studs to the chest.
He did, didn't he? There was a sliding challenge. I'm not sure there was anything malicious in it.
I think he was entitled to go for the ball, but he's really caught him in the chest with his feet.
And he's in a lot of pain, Rory Larkin, isn't he?
He'd be glad he's moved. Goodness
he's
gracious,
copped an awful lot in this first half, and is it Lucas Mirages who's down as well?
Yeah.
Look, a genuine attempt for the ball for both of them. And
yeah, it was. Yeah.
A real coming together, and Rory Larkin is writhing in agony down here.
But, I mean, realistically, the keeper's going down with his body and the player's going in with his feet. It's a hell of a risk, isn't it, for a goalkeeper? They're always the worst off in these situations.
Larkin's done. James Christus is going to be called upon here. Who would be a Canberra Olympic goalkeeper right now?
No.
Frank Asia thought he'd solved his goalkeeping woes with Angelo Constantinu out for the season, and now he's got more. Rory Larkin's lasted just over 45 minutes on his competitive debut for Canberra Olympic. Only signed earlier this week, and he's going to have to come off.
Stand by your phones.
If you're a goalkeeper in Canberra and you're not playing for anyone,
give Frank a ring.
You might get a phone call in the week. Larkin's up and about again, though. He's a tough character, I'll give him that.
If you're a goalkeeper looking for a job, boost your health insurance and give Frank a ring.
Well, the least he can do, I think, Larkin, is to see out the end of this last few seconds, and then they maybe give him 15 minutes to see if he can recover.
Yeah, I mean, I think the knee is the big problem. But going back to the original conversation, it's 1-0 Olympic. They have played marginally better than FC. They've retained possession a little better, and FC's frequent giving up a possession in bad areas has really hurt them.
That's a wonderful ball from Colbertaldo, inviting Brunskill onto the attack. There's 3 red shirts, 4 now joining, but the ball beats them all and rolls out of play. Aidan Brunskill couldn't quite get on the end of it.
No.
Lovely delivery from Colbertaldo, though.
And that's the sort of thing that they need from Daniel Colbertaldo. Nicky Jadrick needs to be in the game a little more. The front 2 need to be in the game a little bit more. They can't get them into the game at the moment. They've been a little bit direct and overhit passes or turned his possession over in the attempt to go forward. And Olympic probably just deserving of a 1-0 lead.
It's a lead they'll take into half-time. The goal scored by Andrei Jancheski, the one chance, that real opening that Olympic made in the first half, and they took it with aplomb. There's been half chances at either end before and after that. The most notable, of course, a stunning save from Roy Larkin from Jordan Thurtell's thumped clearance. I'm still not quite sure how that didn't drop in the net. It looked a goal all the way. As it is, we'll join you for the second half. The first game of the NPL season. It's half-time here at Deakin Stadium, and it's Canberra FC 0, Canberra Olympic 1. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium, where it's MPL round 1 here in Canberra. And it's Canberra FC 0, Canberra Olympic 1. Andrei Janchevsky's goal separating the two teams. Bit of news at half-time. Rory Larkin back on the field, so it looks like he's fully recovered. We had a look at the replay screens, Steve, and we seem to think it may well have been a penalty in the 14th minute.
Certainly, on the angles that we've seen, it looked like a penalty. Little disappointing from an FC point of view, but referee was in a good position, so giving the benefit of the doubt. But it will be a frustrating decision from Luka Ujdor's point of view.
Some interesting.
Looks like. It does look like a penalty.
Some interesting stats at half-time. Possession stats: Olympic 46%, FC 54%. Didn't feel it was quite that much in FC's possession. Total passes: 143 Olympic, 191 CFC. Other major stats: shots on target, shots on goal rather. Olympic 4, CFC 5. But the most important one, obviously, Olympic leading by a goal to nil the teams. Canberra FC, Thurtell in goal, Brunskill, Subasic, Gerbisher, Waters, Kier, Colbertaldo, Yardrich and Ugrinic, Barach and Moragis up front. Canberra Olympic, Larkin in goal, just about still in one piece. Tim Bobolus, Nick Bobolus, Ulrich and Reeve at the back. Janchevsky, the goal scorer, and Magic in the holding midfield. Danning, Popovic and Kelly just behind Stephen Dominici up front, and it's FC in the red who get us underway in the second half. Nathan Shakespeare, the man in the middle with the whistle, his 8th MPL game, assisted by Alex McConaughey in his 150th, or 149 plus, and Adam Powers on this near side. Early chance for Moragis in behind. He's kind of stopped for a second there.
Yeah, he would have got it, I think.
And he still has got it, hasn't he? He just couldn't quite keep it in. Probably would have got it.
Yeah, he hesitated and he was in. I think he had Ulrich for speed. Interestingly, Ugrinic come over to the right-hand side. It may well be that they go to 3 up the front now.
Chance for him to cut inside and use that left foot, which we know all about. Completed passes in the first half is the interesting one. Olympic 83, FC 126, and again, felt a little bit as if it may be the other way around. Headed from Gerbisher, only finds Danning. Looks to find Popovic on the burst through the middle, and Pavlak, who's come on, in fact, at the back there is a change.
Yeah, Waters is off.
Yep, little Money Waters snuck that one in on us at half-time. No boards here.
Or is Waters up here in midfield?
So there's a real change. Brunskill, Waters has come into the middle of the park. Yardrich is still out there. We'll figure that one out in just a second.
Subasic, is it? No?
Ball flicked through from Reeve, finds Danning. It looks like it may well be Subasic who's gone at the half-time interval. Don't like these half-time changes, Steve. Ugrinic looking to fight his way through. Janchevsky stops him. Popovic is there. And here's Reeve. Dominici, good tackle from Gerbisher. And this will test Larkin's knee. So Pavlak's come on. Just back from his honeymoon in Hawaii. Congratulations to him and his wife.
For getting back.
For getting married originally. I mean, for coming back as well, I guess. I mean, if I went to Hawaii, I'd probably stay there for a bit. Probably be tempting, I'd imagine.
It's apparently a lovely part of the world.
Can't be as nice as Deakin under the floodlights on a Friday night, though.
No.
Here's Kier. So a little rejigging formation for Canberra FC. Maybe they've gone 5 across. Here's a chance for Pavlak out there on the left. Another one that's not had too much training since he's been back. Here's Popovic.
Subasic, of course, was a late inclusion, wasn't he? When
Jordan Lamb
pulled out with an injury.
Well, he's put on the bench, Lamb. Don't know if he's 100%. Might see him at some stage. Potential to play anywhere across the park, Jordan Lamb. It's a free kick, Popovic. We did mention the benches briefly before kickoff that Canberra FC seem to have the more experience. Graham, Pavlak, Verkic, Lamb and Brown, the goalkeeper, compared to Fauna, Mutlu, Pateman and Adam, and Christis, the substitute goalkeeper for Olympic.
Yeah, if it comes down to depth of the squad to determine the result, then you would back FC in, but, you know, Olympic have done really well.
They have the only goal so far. Gerbisher swings that one to this near side. It's just too high for Jason Ugrinic, who He's a bit frustrated, I think, in that first half, Steve.
Yeah, he's not quite had the service that he would expect, has he?
Not just yet. You'll be hoping that he does get better service in the second half. Here's Danning.
Did really well. Did Brunskill like he wasn't there.
Here is Danning on the left foot, drives one goalwards, but it hit the ground before he fired it in.
Lovely move, lovely combination to set him free. Probably should have done better, but it's one of those situations on his weaker foot that he wasn't able to take full advantage.
Switch to this near side.
Oof.
Ulrich took a touch. Takes it away from Barach. Magic. A little bit of space for Reeve. Oh, and that's a horrible ball. But Brunskill's touch was equally bad, and Danning takes over. Janchevsky finds Ulrich. And he looks for Popovic, who's stolen a march for a moment, and would have done well to bring that down.
Yeah, once again, that sort of straight and direct ball just going to skip away. Unless it's hit perfectly, he's going to skip away. So it's a low percentage option.
Waters, who's a bit further forward, more comfortable in that position, you'd feel.
Yeah.
Was Canberra FC's Player of the Year last year, Matty Waters. And in a star-studded side that won the treble.
Yeah,
that's no small achievement.
No, he's a very good footballer. Very good footballer. Not his best moment there, though.
Always happens when you praise someone, Steve. Here he is on the left foot, looking to swing it in towards Barach. Good win from Ulrich. Waters again looks to force it back in there, and this time it's Nick Bobolas who sends it forward.
Ulrich looks really accomplished in the middle of the back four. Terrific foil for Nicky Bobolas, who's your out-and-out defender, and Ulrich looks a little more cultured. Play a bit.
Gerbischer. Pavlak. Barach is the only one in the middle, and it almost found Barach. There's Larkin with a punch out, only as far as Waters, who drives it back in, and it flashes just wide of the post. And Rory Larkin, unorthodox clearance, but he got enough on it.
Well, just. I mean, it's not the best of clearances when you drop it on the edge of your box to one of the opposition players, and certainly Waters on his left foot, capable of finishing from there. Just misses the target. Larkin led off.
Yeah, it's this rather unique style of goalkeeping, Rory Larkin, where he dives almost horizontally rather than with the body outstretched.
You see, he tends to go chest on, doesn't he?
Michael Reeve is coming off here.
Took a little bit of a knock at the start of the second half, and it may well be that that's the reason, or it could well be tactical. Although he's done okay. Michael Reeve's been one of the better players on the park, I think.
There might be a tactical change as far as Canberra Olympic are concerned.
Young Mutu,
yeah, Zadar Mutlu, wearing number 70.
Number 70?
Apparently they all got to pick their numbers this year at Canberra Olympic, and the young lad chose 70 for some reason. Here he is. I'm sure we'll find out. There must be a story behind it of some description.
Well, it certainly wasn't his date of birth.
No. Definitely not one of the exciting youngsters that they have here at Canberra Olympic. So both sides make a change. Kofi Danning having some light-hearted banter with the fans that used to support him here at FC.
Canberra Olympic coming off number 11, Michael Reeve, and replaced by number 70, Zedan Mutlu.
Free kick to FC. Olympic attacking the goal where the housing development is behind the nets here. Free kick. And a first card of the season.
No. I think that's a bit harsh. I think that's a bit harsh. It probably doesn't make up for what might have been a penalty decision, but...
Was that Nick Bobolas who picked that up?
Yeah, Nicky Bobolas, yeah. Not unfamiliar with yellow cards, young Nick.
I was going to say, I'd very much doubt if that's going to be his last.
He'd be hoping it's his last tonight.
Be definitely hoping for it. Here's Kier. Yadrich. Brunskill. They've lost out here, and there's a chance for Dominici to run forward. Look at the pace that Janchevski's made up onto his left. It's a good ball too. Here's Janchevski, the goal scorer, into the box, looking for a runner, and back there tracking was Yardrich.
Well, he's made up for his own mistake, because it was him that gave the ball away with the sloppy pass, but he's got back to actually tidy up in the defensive third, so well done, Nicky.
It's not over yet. Tim Bobolas sends it in. Chance for Dominici on the turn. Brilliant finish. Stephen Dominici controlled the ball, spun on it, fires it in the corner. Canberra Olympic double their advantage.
Well, it's a great finish. It's a lovely first touch. Takes him away from the defender, and Stephen Dominici doesn't miss many chances from that sort of range, and he's tucked that away. First class finish. And Olympic 2-0 up, and they haven't really come out of the blocks in their second half, FC, so unless they can sort of shape themselves, they might find themselves further behind. But now a test of character for them. Well done, Olympic, great goal. FC challenge in front of them.
Not the starts to life as head coach that Luca Usta would have wanted here in front of the demanding fans at Deakin Stadium. The champions 2-0 behind at home on the opening night.
Yeah, no, certainly not what they would have been expecting at the start of the evening.
Janchevski, who played a major part in it again. Good ball in from Tim Bobolas as well to find Dominici.
It was.
Is there a way back for FC? Plenty of time still to go.
Yeah.
Ugrinich tries this luck from distance.
That's not the way. That's
ambitious
not the way.
effort.
Yeah, I think that was pure frustration from Jason Ugrinich.
It's been an odd night for Rory Larkin. He's wandering around when he's not got the ball as if he's got a half-busted leg. He's got no bend in there or anything like that. But yet, when he's been called upon, he seems to recover miraculously and make whatever saves are called he's needed to do.
Yeah, he's just basically playing through whatever pain he's suffering.
You get the feeling though they would like to test him out a little bit more.
Well, they've got to get the ball down on the floor and start playing a little bit. Get people involved that can pass the ball. Colbertaldo, Jadrich, Ugrinich, Moragas, Barach have all got to be doing a little bit more.
Here's Jadrich, challenge from Popovic. Colbertaldo. Not the debut he would have been envisaging last night.
No.
Against his former mates.
It may well be.
Assuming they're still his mates. But
oh, yeah, of course they will be. But it's, they've taken Keir out of that midfield role with the substitution of Sabasic. And it just lacks a little bit of creativity now.
Gerbischer looking to change all that. Skips past Bobolas, Tim Bobolas, and then goes past Janchevski and wins the free kick. This has been their most likely route so far, the set piece for FC.
Well, they've done well, haven't they, from the set pieces? So, yeah, this could well be the way back into it for them. They need the quality again. Ugrinich is not on it this time, and he had been taking them, but Pavlak has got a cultured left foot as well.
Yeah, Ivan Pavlak will swing this in. Plenty of red shirts, as you would expect, clustering inside the Canberra Olympic penalty area. Everyone in a blue shirt, in fact, behind the ball. Pavlak looking to deliver. It's a flat one towards a near post, and there's something happened off the ball here, and a huge scream from
flag's gone up. I think
Timmy Bobolas went down on this near side. You could hear him shout whether he copped something off the ball there. Steve, did you see anything?
No, I didn't see what happened, but it may well just have been incidental contact, or he slipped and strained something, but the linesman's flag went up almost straight away, so I'm assuming it was offside anyway. And Bobolas appears to be fit again.
Kelly. Magic. He gives it away to Jadrich, and Janchevski looking to win it back. Barach. It's been quite quiet this evening. Daniel Barach.
Apart from his goal last week, he was a bit quiet there as well. But, he's the sort of player that can be almost dormant for most of the game and then spring into life and get you a couple.
Gerbischer, he's given it away to Popovic, and he slips. Unfortunately for Canberra Olympic, he's got it back though, Nick Popovic. Gerbischer snapping into the challenge. Still going Popovic. Good run this. Danning's gone towards the near post and Dominici pulled away, and in the end it's a corner, but Nick Popovic, perseverance.
Nick Popovic has done really well. He's tormented and twisted and turned Gerbisher, and I think it was Pavlak as well over there, and 2 against 1, and he's come out with the ball and a better quality cross, and Olympic might have been looking at 3.
But they led 3-0 here just before half-time in the qualification final, didn't they, in what was their best first half of the season, and they could have been 4 or 5 up on that occasion. Different kind of performance to lead 2-0 here tonight, but equally as effective.
Well, they've been resilient, haven't they, defensively, and have looked creative going forward, so you've got to give them full credit. But FC, I think they'll be a little disappointed. They look a little bit flat from what we saw last week. Last week, certainly in the first 20-25 minutes, they were red hot.
Danning with the corner. Good one, swung in towards Tim Bobolas, who threw himself at it. And got a piece of it too. Couldn't test Thurtell. Good touch that from Ugrinich.
Yeah.
That's a good ball too, looking for Cole Bataldo, who's got furthest forward he's been all game. Swings that in, and there's Larkin again. I'll tell you what, the most work he's had to do tonight, Roy Larkin, is to make a save from Jordan Thurtell. That's the best save he's done.
Fantastic save, tipping it over the bar.
Says a lot, doesn't it, at the moment, though, if that's the closest, they've had half chances for Barach and that, but the most difficult save he's had to make is one from the opposite goalkeeper.
But I think that last play just sort of sums up where FC have been in this game. Greenwich, brilliant piece of control, lovely pass, Cole Bataldo in space, but no end product.
Could be now, though. Brunskill's got some room on this near side. Just to swing this into the penalty area. Again, it's a bit too close for Larkin.
There's nobody attacking the near post, so the runs into the box are sort of, let's get in here and hope it arrives at the right spot. But you've got to make runs that distract defenders, get in front of defenders, get in front of the keeper, and they're not doing that at the moment.
Clearance kick from the keeper, and he finds Brunskill. Keir can bring it back. Keir once more. No real panic for FC, but plenty of time. Just under half an hour to go.
It's just a little sloppy, a little pedestrian. They could just find a little bit more urgency.
Should be easy for Bobolas. Just for a moment it looked worrying for Larkin, who it still doesn't look like he's running too freely, does he? You can see when he kicks it, he's not quite got the movement he wants. He's found Danning. Kelly, who's dropped a bit deeper in this half for Olympic, and this would be a test for the keeper. And you can tell it's really hurt him when he struck that forward. Does Keisha persevere, or does he make the change?
I think if he was to go down again, you might see a difference, but he's not going to be moving him yet.
Popovic looks to get it back, but
yeah, the option was to turn. I think he could have been in.
Keir's back with Thurtell. We'll keep an eye on Larkin, see if he does start to move a bit for here.
Certainly no signs at the moment that they've got the young keeper Christos warming up.
Well, the signal from the physio when he went down was to make the substitution, and Christos took his top off, didn't he, and was ready to come on. As we'll come back to that point in a moment, because Popovic has got in behind here. Real chances for Olympic. Janchevsky's arriving unmarked, and it's 3! Beyond their wildest dreams at Deakin Stadium, Canberra Olympic are putting the champions to the sword.
Well, I'm not sure about the offside because he was in a lot of space, but Pavlak miles out of position. The rest of the back four almost asleep and just not in a position to actually defend that. And when the ball's cut back, it finds the goal scorer, and he finishes with a fantastic goal.
Just past the hour, and Canberra Olympic are 3-0 up at the home of the champions. When Frank Keisha went to bed last night, he probably dreamt of this.
He'd be delighted, absolutely delighted. And look, it's the sort of goal that's worthy of winning a game on its own. It was a fantastic finish, great run from Popovic and ball in, but defensively, FC all over the shop. Might be regretting making that Subasic change at half time.
What has Luca Ursta got up his sleeve to rescue this? Ian Graham looks like he's about to come on.
Yeah, it's an interesting change because he's really a holder.
We'll see what this happens here, who he comes on for. Pavlak.
Perhaps Nicky Jadrick, the young boy.
Ugrinich beaten to it by Kelly.
I hope it's not. I hope Nicky gets... yeah, it is.
Not as bright as he was against Gungahlin, but plenty of signs that Nicky Yardrich can perform at this level.
Absolutely. Very good, very, very good young player. And I think even when players at this age are just struggling a little bit like he has tonight, you've got to just encourage them. Luke has gone for a little bit more experience, and it's maybe damage control now.
Well, I'm sure this will precipitate some sort of reshuffle.
Substitution for Canberra FC. Coming off number 19.
Incredible start to the season in the MPO in Canberra. No one would have picked this, and it could get worse for Canberra FC before it gets better. Here's Dominici in behind, Popovic in the middle. First touch though for Graham. Dominici didn't quite have the conviction to go forward there.
No, but he was checked.
As was Matty Waters, and Nathan Shakespeare gives this free kick. Well, we expected most things tonight, but what we didn't expect was Canberra Olympic probably to be 3-0 up with half an hour to play.
No, I mean, if you'd have asked me for who my tip might have been, I think I would have gone with the Reds, but it's just been...
Waters arriving! Great save, Larkin. Even when they get it on target, they can't beat the keeper. Rory Larkin diving away and certainly looked fit enough then.
That's a fabulous save. I mean, Waters has collected that really neatly. And Lucas Moragas, probably the first time this half that he's got in behind the defence, has picked him out. But Larkin, magnificent save. Reflex is just superb for a bloke that's on one leg. It's just a fantastic performance.
Not out of jail just yet. Comes in, doesn't get anywhere near it that time, the keeper, and clears out his own central defender. But gets lucky.
Yeah, I think that's come off Waters in the end.
25 minutes to go, Steve, and Olympic 3-0 up.
I mean, stranger things have happened. You can't see them losing from here. I mean, the game's not dead by any stretch of the imagination. Olympic, I don't think are going to sort of shut up shop and just see it out. And so you could expect them to try and take advantage of FC as they push forward, trying to get back into the game. So you might even see more goals from the Olympic point of view.
Ugrinich switched back over to that left-hand side. Bobolas looking to prevent the corner, and he can't. Sense of urgency in the Canberra FC camp, of course, now. You don't win the league or lose the league on day one, but you can set your stall out. Mirage is looking to chip this into the penalty area. Well won by Ulrich. And help clear by Magic. Mirages. Jancheski, who's been all-round solid in the middle of the park, to go with his 2 goals as well.
Yeah.
They're looking for a replacement from Cole Batalda. They've certainly found one.
And on tonight's performance, certainly. Ulrich at the back has been good. I think Dominici and Popovic have been excellent. Kelly, who's sort of dropped into a fullback role in the second half now that Reeves has gone off, has been good.
There's Danning.
It's very hard to find a poor performer in blue.
Yeah, Lasse Ulrich, the Danish centre-back. That should be a free kick. Balac has a pull back on Kelly. Yeah, Lasse Ulrich, he's been solid in the air, he's been good on the ground, and he's marshalled it well, and they found a partner for Nick Bobolas there, haven't they?
Yes. Yeah, he's been very impressive.
It'll take a lot to break down this Olympic defence by anyone this season. Early days, of course. Plenty of football to come between now and finals time in September.
Look, both teams will be better for the hit-out, but Olympic have started very, very well. They'll be delighted with this performance, absolutely delighted.
And FC, if it stays like this, it'll be bottom of the table. Of course, it means next to nothing with more games to come. Obviously, tomorrow, Riverina Rhinos versus Monero Panthers from the Solomad Stadium at 5 p.m, or if you wish, Melrose is the venue for Woden Western versus Belconnen United at 7:30. When that finishes, it'll be past your bedtime, Steve. Bobolas swings it towards the far post. Oh, Dominici couldn't keep hold of it. And on Sunday, Nigel Oval, 3 p.m, sees Tigers versus Tuggeranong United.
That's an interesting fixture as well.
A rematch of last year's elimination final, which we saw here at Deakin Stadium, but which went to penalties.
The Riverina game has got different connotations on it as well, because they'll be looking to bounce back from a disappointing result in the FFA Cup. And being at home, they'll want to get off to a decent start.
Yeah, they lost 3-0 to ANU, a rather surprising FFA Cup defeat, and that immediately some Premier League experts have suggested they might be in the battle for relegation. But if they win tomorrow, they're 9 points clear of Gungahlin because of the 6-point deduction, and that's huge in such a short season.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's all if buts and maybes ready to come. Brunskill swings that in. Ulrich wins the header, and it'll come away for Janchevsky. Good tracking back by Miragis, and a combination of himself and Ian Graham wins the ball. That's a good win by Tim Bobolas. 20 minutes plus stoppage time left here at Deacon's Stadium.
There's no doubt about it. Over the past how many years, Olympic have the wood in the big games. I mean, not all the time, obviously, because we saw in last year's grand final they got beaten, but they do very, very well, especially here.
They love this venue, don't they?
Yeah.
For some reason, seems to bring out the best in them. Canberra FC only lost 2 games last season in the league when they wrapped up top spot by 5 points. They're almost 50% towards that tally already. Popovic, thumping challenge from Matty Gerbischer. Popovic comes back for more though and skips away, and then Gerbischer brings him down and is going in the book here. Matty Gerbischer. It's been coming, that one, I think.
That's frustration as well, isn't it?
I think it is a frustrating. He just took a swing, didn't he?
Oh, look, it's
good first tackle to win it.
Yeah, but it's a foul, it's a yellow card, and realistically, take your lumps, Matty, get back in position.
Nick Popovic has looked pretty impressive when he's dropped deep to dictate play, and
he's done well, done really well. I mean, this is a boy that's had significant injury problems over the last 4 or 5 years, but he's looked absolutely fantastic, and maybe just reaping the benefits of a summer playing with the youth league, where he's sort of been able to maintain a high level of fitness.
He got himself injured in the Charity Shield, I think it was last year, at Melrose in the first game of the season. It was one of the early games. He pulled off injured. May have been the Western game. It was one of the games at Melrose anyway.
Yeah. I think there was one game where Olympic were...
I think it was the Western game. They lost 3 in the first 15 minutes. It probably was that game that Nick Popovic was injured in originally. Anyway, he's up and moving now. Free kick on the halfway line, which Jay Kelly is behind, but he'll leave it for Lasse Ulrich. Swings it towards Danning. Good free kick, that. Danning's touch just a little heavy. Pavlak was ready to read it. Graham finds Brunskill. Not a huge amount of movement ahead of him, so he sends one down the channel that Usain Bolt won't fetch. Well out of play.
Well, it's missed the pitch anyway. I mean, he was asking a lot of young Moragas to get on the end of that.
Certainly was. Couldn't keep it in play.
Oh.
Kelly with a throw, kind of. Gets there at the second attempt. Popovic's touch. Lovely turn from Colbertaldo. Great feet from the midfielder. Ugrinich. Brunskill. Janchevsky wins and battles with Brunskill. Throw in. In fact, the free kick is given.
I think Janchevsky was just a little late on Brunskill then.
A chance for Ugrinich maybe to swing this one in towards the danger area. Matty Gerbischer's taken up position on the edge of the penalty area.
Doesn't there any sense of urgency about getting the ball back into play? They're just sort of very, very lackadaisical.
Ugrinich with the left foot. Decent one towards the edge of the box, but there's Janchevsky. Kelly rather helps it on its way. Pavlak. Brunskill. That was easily read by Kelly, and he almost pushed it past Brunskill. And a good job the defender was there, because there was no one home for FC, was there?
No, and the movement in front of Brunskill when he tried to play the ball into Waters was almost non-existent. There was just a red and blue line facing Brunskill. No depth, no width, no penetration. It's just symptomatic of the way they've actually gone about the business tonight.
Keir should get there ahead of Dominici. Can't keep it in play though. Nicky Popovic getting involved with the FC crowd down there, telling them what the score is, I think.
I think he was just indicating that the Doncaster's on tomorrow at Randwick.
Mutlu. Kelly. Lovely ball towards Danning if he can get there, and he is going to get it behind Pavlak here. Kofi Danning swings it across there, and Gudabisha was in the right place to clear, otherwise it could have got even worse. May still do. Magic. Dominici.
Good turn.
Popovic. Still going, Popovic.
No, they can break. Or can they?
Badac tries to. No one makes a run outside of him though, and it's rather slowed down by Brunskill and Graham. Good switch though to Greenwich.
Good touch.
Here's Waters. Outside is Morages. Standing up Bobolis, looking to get past him. Bobolis, who's a good defender and shows just why.
Yeah, just a little bit too much for Lucas on that occasion.
Seem to have had the answer to most things that Canberra FC have thrown at them this evening.
Yeah, they've done everything well. They've attacked reasonably well. They've retained possession. They've been imaginative in the front third, and they've defended stoutly. So,
good turn by Morages in the box though. Swung in towards the far post. Brunskill's arriving. Kelly wins it. Might fall for Graham. Ian Graham just over the crossbar, was always rising. But Lucas Morages in the last 10-15 minutes, since he's started to drift, has become more involved and looks more lively.
And they need to get people like him in the game, because they just haven't really posed a sort of serious threat through the front two at the moment. And maybe it warrants a bit of a change in formation, and I'm sure Luka Ustor will be looking at that during the week before next week's game.
Well, they've got a chance to bounce back in midweek. They're back here on Wednesday against Brindabella Blues in the FFA Cup fourth round. And you'd expect them to win that, but you never know. Brindabella Blues will be watching this and hatching a plan for one of the biggest cup upsets that Canberra's ever seen, I'd imagine.
Well, it would certainly be a shock, but they've got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. And games like that, and we saw it with the game that we were involved in last week with Western Creek, that they can be real banana skins.
You can watch that game live on Bar TV Sports, or you can tune in to listen to me and Steve whilst watching Woden Western versus White Eagles at Melrose, which will be an interesting match, and we'll bring you updates obviously from here throughout the course of the evening as well. Nick Popovic has run himself into the ground, so he's going to make way for this latest change for Canberra Olympic. And with just under 15 minutes to go, Steve, it's difficult to see any way back for Canberra, so you can't really see it. But
no,
it won't be too much pressure on Luka Usta just yet.
Oh, no, and not after the first game. I mean, he's got a trophy last week, so he's actually started the season reasonably well. They've had a poor performance tonight, poor result. But, one swallow doesn't make a spring.
Amir Adam comes on for a debut for Canberra Olympic. And there's a change for Canberra FC as well. Aidan Brunskill's off.
Verkic.
Marko Verkic has come on.
Wow.
He was a mainstay in the back of the defence last year.
Actually did really well. It was a breakout season for young Marko, and he was one of their more consistent performers. And this is where he's at his best. He breaks forward at real pace.
Ball's been played forwards. So changes on both sides and a debut for Amir Adam.
But just going back to that point we were making, it's too early in the season for panic stations. There will be some conversations in the change room about what they might do better when they next get on the park, but they'll still retain belief that they're capable of winning something this season. This bad result.
Like I said, you don't win anything on day one, do you?
That's right. That's right.
And they're too good not to bounce back from this, you would think. Waters.
They don't want to repeat it too often, and I'm sure they won't.
Graham, someone's going to cop a backlash, and here's a chance already. Colbertaldo almost got in. I mean, you can look at it this way: if you're Brindabella Blues on Wednesday, you might cop the backlash if there's one coming.
Yeah, depends on what they want to do. I mean, they might be giving some of the fringe players a run, and it might just make the game that little bit closer. But I would expect that following this result, they'll be wanting to turn things around really quickly. And Brindabellas might, as you suggest, be on the end of something.
Well, the good thing about Bar TV Sports is that they can watch Canberra FC's game against Gungahlin, they can watch this one tonight, and they can hatch a plan. But also on the downside for them is that Luke Urshto can watch their video of their game against Narrabundah. Anyway, here's Adam looking to find Tim Bobolas on the overlap, and a bit of commitment in there, and it's a corner.
That probably sums up the difference in the two teams. The Olympic have been hungry in the challenge. They've won more 50-50s than they've lost. FC have sort of been a little lethargic, and maybe they've just got themselves into a frame of mind after last week's result that they're good enough by just turning up, and the competition is just too close for that.
Danning with the Olympic corner, looking to turn the screw towards the far post. It's going to fall for Dominici. Chance for him to swing it in. Good one for Dominici, and a decent save from Thurtell. Might come for Danning, and there's a problem for the FC goalkeeper, and there's a problem for Dominici as well.
Yeah, I think he's done a quad.
He's pulled something, hasn't he? Doesn't look good for him.
Quad or a groin.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem for Dominici. Maybe it's cramp or something, but maybe it looked higher up than that, didn't it?
It did. It did.
When he struck the shot.
And it was a good effort, wasn't it? And a good save from Thurtell.
Could see them signalling on the Olympic defence, bench rather, for Dominici just to go down so they can get some treatment for him. And he's looking to substitute himself.
Yeah, he wants to come off.
Well, he's not going to be able to carry on. It's definitely a pull. Look, like you said, it's definitely a pull of some description, and it's probably, as you mentioned, a quad. He immediately held the top of his thigh, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he should be wandering off, though.
I don't know why he's not just gone down, let them take the treatments, and then make the substitution.
Oh, they've let him off. The linesman's done the right thing. Common sense has prevailed.
Well, they'll be hoping that the goal scorer of the second goal.
Gee, he took it well too, didn't he? Lovely right foot turn finish. First class, first class. Good player.
Well, Sean Pateman's come on for a debut.
Good time to be coming on. Not the right circumstances, but it's a good time to be coming on.
Opportunity in the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time for him to get involved, and first thing he does is see the ball out from Marko Verkic for a throw.
Safe to say they've not been at the best FC tonight, but watch out. They will bounce back.
Well, they won everything like we said last year, so they are the hunted this year. They've been hunted tonight for sure. Here's Waters looking to step away from Pateman, and they can't find a way past Bobolas. Keir. Graham goes back to Thurtell.
Inside the last 10. Certainly something's got to happen for FC now if they're going to get anything at all out of this game.
Bobolas wins the header, and Tim Bobolas sends it forward towards Danning. Good win from Gerbischer. Danning has it again.
And a silly free kick.
Olympic 3-0 up on the opening day of the Premier League season.
Yes, I should imagine the patrons in the clubhouse will not be best pleased by this result, but a lot of water to go under the bridge yet.
Kelly looking to get away from Mirages, then nutmegs Waters. Still going Kelly. Straight into Gerbischer. Mirages. Loses out to Kelly. Oh, and that's a nasty one from Marko Verkic. And that's a straight red. The substitute is off, and Canberra FC's night gets worse. And I don't think there can be any arguments over that.
No, it was a bad tackle, but it's come as a result of Lucas Mirages just dwelling in possession, and he's very much a left-footed player, and once you turn him onto his right foot, he's not quite as effective, and unfortunately he's turned the ball over, and Marko Verkic,
frustration boils over. It's a rash challenge,
and very rash, and you know it's a challenge that can really cause some damage. I at the end of the day, we're not looking at a serious injury here.
One of the more easiest red card decisions that Nathan Shakespeare probably has to make. No hesitation from the referee and no choice either.
No.
And Marko Vrkic, who came on as a substitute, makes his way down the tunnel. Very unhappy, of course. And Jay Kelly gets a bit of treatment. Canberra Olympic lost Josh Calabria, Daniel Carbataldo, Dominic Giampaolo, Michael John, Tom McLaughlin, Bernard Rene, Rocco Stricker, amongst a plethora of others. It's made no difference to them. They're 3-0 up and a man up.
Yes.
With time running out.
Yes, I mean, I should imagine that at some stage during the off-season, Frank Casher must have thought he'd walked under a ladder or something, but it's sort of worked to his favour because they've brought in some fresh faces, they've refreshed the squad. It was a squad that, 2 years ago was the dominant force in capital football, and now it's, last season it was probably just over the top a little bit, and whether by good luck or good management, he's now in a position to build again, and they've started the rebuild in terrific fashion.
Well, rather ironically, both sides are going to end with 10 men here, I think, because Jay Kelly's not going to be able to carry on.
And we had 3 subs.
Olympic have made 3 substitutes: Zidan Mutlu, Amir Adam and Sean Pateman. So the red cards for Marko Vrkic isn't going to be quite as costly in terms of numerical advantage as it may have been. He's going to see a few weeks for that, though.
Well, straight red, dangerous play.
And it's ended Jay Kelly's involvement.
It has, and I hope it hasn't. It's only for tonight. So I wish the boy a speedy recovery and that it's not too serious an injury. It was a bad challenge.
Let's pay the ultimate penalty.
Noticeable that after the incident, Daniel Colbertaldo was having a quick word with Lucas Moragas about turning over possession.
Amir Adam was having a quick word with Marko Vrkic on the way off as well, the substitute, wasn't he?
Yes.
Didn't need to get involved.
No, that was less amicable.
We're going to restart with a free kick. We're going to see a fair bit of stoppage time now because of that. Kofi Danning with the free kick, and as you'd expect, not many blue shirts in the attacking zone.
Yeah, 10 against 10. Here we go.
Magic looks to send it forwards. Not what we expected the game to finish with 10 against 10 in that respect, did we, with the 1 red card? And no temporary dismissals, of course, tonight. We haven't had any.
No. And there's been a little bit of chat between the referee and the players, and I think, the referees, if they apply the sort of new rule well, they'll actually look to have a chat with players, settle things down before actually reaching for the punitive or sanctionable way out.
Adam, Magic swings it to the far post where Kofi Danning has the freedom of Deakin Stadium to keep this in play. Mutlu's with him. Ball in from Danning, and it should be easy for Ian Graham to bring this away.
Oh, that might have been a yellow card too. Mutlu might have dodged a bullet there.
Graham.
To be honest with you, and I may be way off the mark here, but FC look like they just lack a little bit of fitness.
Well, their pre-season campaign saw them play some sides from lower grades. Big wins over ANUFC and South Coast United, and the Charity Shield last week, of course, was their first major test. Passed that one, but they're not going to pass this one tonight. Going to come out second best with 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Here's Pateman. Olympic might look to rub salt into the wound if they can. Ugrinic. Barac. Pavlak. Ugrinic once more in the middle. Barac. Bit of sustained possession for Canberra FC, and Jason Ugrinic tries his luck, and Larkin spills but gets there at the second attempt. Just a snapshot of what FC can offer.
Greenwich is down now. Has he got cramp?
Larkin sportily kicks it out so that Ugrinic can get some attention. Obviously they can't make any changes either, Canberra. See, they've made all 3. Greenwich will need to carry on, otherwise they'll end with 9. He's going to hobble off here, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's just cramped though.
Doesn't need to go off though. He hasn't had any treatment, Steve. So
No.
interesting.
I don't know why. Unless he's just going, the referee said go off and get the treatment.
Maybe. Well, FC down to 9.
Dropping like
Canberra Olympic have 10.
9 pins.
Marko Verkic sent off for Canberra FC, and the recipients of the tackle, Jay Kelly, carried off. And both sides having made all their changes. Sees 10 against 9 briefly. Huge clearance towards Danning. We said before kickoff, Steve, that there's always talking points in Canberra football. Plenty more again tonight as Daniel Colbertado on debut is forced to go back to his keeper. Keir.
Yeah, there's been plenty of activity on the pristine surface of Deakin Stadium this evening. Send-offs, possible penalties, goals, goalkeepers nearly scoring. No temporary dismissals. That's disappointing.
The only thing we've been missing
Is the time. What happens? You have to serve the rest of it next week.
30 seconds to go. Plus stoppage time. Here's Waters. Looks to dink one over the top towards Colbertado, who's stolen a march on here, but he's got... Whistle has gone. I think there's a little shirt pull. A little shove there, I think Nation Shakespeare says.
There certainly was no flag up for offside, so it must have just been an infringement.
So lots to work on for the champions on the training pitch this week before they head to Brindabella here on Wednesday in the Cup, and then Tuggeranong next week. And Tuggeranong will fancy their chances.
Well, I think if you fall off the horse, the best thing you can do is get back on. And so they get a game on Wednesday night where they can start to work on the things that they need to fix, and I'm sure that's what will occur. The worst thing in the world you can do is have a loss this week, then the bye next week, and you're waiting 2 weeks to get back on the park. So they're back into it straight away on Wednesday. Whatever it is they need to do, I'm sure Luca Udor will have it sorted. And there isn't a lot they need to fix. A little bit more urgency, a little bit more composure, maybe a change of formation. I mean, it's early days to be sort of recommending that, but that's something that they'll look at during the week.
They've got the firepower up front, certainly if they can find the front two. Need to load the gun before they can fire the ammunition, though. Here's Pavlak.
Yeah.
Good to find Miragis, and he's given the ball away. And this is a chance for Bobolas to run forward, and Amir Adam's gone ahead of him.
Should have played him too.
He should have, but Timmy Bobolas is happy just to run the clock down and run straight into Pavlak.
Waste of a run, Timmy.
Amir Adam's got involved. Looks to get it back again, the substitutes. Zanning. Mejic. Janchevsky. Well, he gets involved in a challenge as well. If you were picking a man of the match, Steve, who would be your choice?
Look, I've got to say that Larkin has done really well, considering the amount of damage that was inflicted on him during the first half. But in my opinion, a humble opinion, Janjetovic has probably been the pick of the players. Janchevsky, Janchevsky.
There was a yellow card there. I think it may have gone to Jason Greenwich, maybe. It's brandished in his general direction. Ulrich thrashes that forwards.
Closely followed by Ulrich. I think he's been really impressive.
Pavlak picked out Barac, and there is Lasse Ulrich with the tackle. And Barac coming back through the back of him, and that's a nasty one as well. There's another card coming out here, and it's yellow for Daniel Barac.
That could well have been red, because he's gone straight through the back of the boy.
Wasn't a pretty challenge. He joins Matt Gerdebusch in the referee's book in the stoppage time, and to go with the red for Verkic. That was a frustrated challenge there from Daniel Barac, wasn't it?
There we go.
And has he gone for 10 minutes? The temporary dismissal. There is the temporary dismissal, the first in capital football history in the Premier League. And it goes to Daniel Barac for a little bit of back check. Now, here's my question, Steve. In the old days, that's dissent, that's a second yellow card, and he's off.
And what is the rule now? If they were...
There is no dissent anymore, apparently. There's no yellow card for dissent.
He's already had a yellow card, and now he's got 10 minutes, so he can't be replaced. If they had a substitution now, they couldn't replace him. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct, because he's been booked.
Yeah.
It's something that we'll get through to the end of the season. What I'm saying is that in the old days, that's a second yellow, and he's
missing
taken
this
a week.
Yeah.
But he's not now.
No.
Which in some ways, I guess, is better for the game because you get the better players playing every week, but in some ways, he's not getting any real punishment for a bit of dissent. It's something we'll be talking about, I guess, a lot during this season.
Absolutely. But it's not so much that's the problem. I think it's that, will that same decision be made next week when there's a different referee and two different teams? Will we get the sort of consistency that's required?
That was a really heavy challenge. Was that Tim Bobolas out there?
Tim Bobolas, he's had his fair share of injuries the last couple. This is just getting a bit out of hand, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure there's much in that. There was just a 50-50 challenge, and he's just collided with him. You can hear it from here, and we're a good, 50 metres away or so, and it's a thumping challenge. And Nathan Shakespeare's having a chat with someone here, I think, with his assistants. Don't think Frank Keisha was too happy with the challenge. Stephen Dominici wasn't, and discretion, the better part of valour for Nathan Shakespeare. He blows the full-time whistle as Tim Bobolas gets treatment, but a funny old end to the game there, Steve. We've seen our first temporary dismissal, we've seen a red card, we've seen goals galore, but we've seen a Canberra Olympic performance which has really set down a marker.
Absolutely. They will be delighted with the start to the season. FC, not so. They'll have to have a good look at themselves and make sure that they recover quickly. Olympic deserving winners today. Certainly in the second half I thought they were the much better team. In the first half it was pretty even, didn't see much in it, but they'd taken that half-time lead and were able to build on it. In the end, like you say, we've had a bit of everything. Goalkeepers with long shots and penalties that weren't given, send-offs, temporary dismissals, some really cracking goals from Olympic, and 3-0, 3 points.
You look at the incident back there, and you look back at that penalty incident at 0-0 at the time, and it's a big call.
Yeah. It may well have been that had FC got in front, they might have been able to keep the noses in, because the performance was a little flat today and they probably needed a spark, and maybe that penalty would have given them that. But bottom line is, we'll read it in the papers tomorrow. Olympic 3, FC 0.
You certainly will. What we will see tomorrow as well is two other games in the NPL Round 1. Riverina Rhinos v Monaro Panthers at Solomad Stadium at 5 p.m. Woden Western versus Steve's Belconnen United at Melrose. Thanks for your company tonight, Steve. Good luck in your first match tomorrow. And on Sunday, Tigers versus Tuggeranong United. What we saw here, though, was a grand final rematch. The champions looking to defend their treble from last season. They got a treble, but it was a treble of Olympic goals. Two from Andrei Janchevsky, sandwiching one between Stephen Dominici. The visitors have set down their stall. Deakin Stadium, round 1. It's finished Canberra FC 0, Canberra Olympic 3.